I'm Thompson-Willingham, a Montessori educator, literacy specialist, and parent. I want to talk to you about how to support literacy at home. We all want our children to be able to read, and yes, as parents, we expect our schools to do most of the work in this area. But reading is a skill that requires repetition and practice, and that's where home comes in. It's really important that literacy is supported at home. So I'm going to talk to you today about some ways to do that. It's really easy if you think of it as 3 different elements. We want our kids to be able to do the how, the what, and the why. So what do I mean by that, right? The how, we want our kids to be able to actually have the skills to do the reading, to see a message on the page, and to be able to say that, read it out loud. We also want our kids to understand what that message means. And then on top of that, we want our kids to want to read, right? We don't have to fight with them day in and day out about actually reading, because reading is a vehicle for learning, and learning is important to do throughout your whole life. All right, so what do I mean? Well, let's get into the how to read. Decoding skills and recognizing words that are difficult to decode at sight, putting that all together, right? That's the stuff that we think is going to happen at school, mostly. The problem is the practicing has to happen at home. So instead of it being a big deal, maybe you should start with having your child reading words, not in a test kind of way, in a curious, wondering approach. Look for opportunities for your child to read labels, signs, grocery lists. Writing them is also an excellent way for your child to work with sounds, and it's actually easier for them than reading. Eventually, the practice should evolve into your child reading to you. You could make it an interesting activity by switching off pages with your child and sort of challenge them each time that you read together, reading more. So first you start with a sentence, then you go into 2 sentences. I don't know, you get the idea. Make it more of a game. An essential element of this reading skill work is assisting your child in developing a positive attitude towards the work and learning in general. When a child is not afraid of making mistakes, they take more chances, they push through, and they have success more readily than if they only do what they're already good at. You can promote this by keeping your expectations in check. Encourage trying things. For example, when my girls or my students would ask me how to spell something, I would always answer, how do you think? They would often guess right, but if they didn't, I would say, close. EA does say the long E sound, but in this case, the long E is spelled IE. You get it? The next thing that's an important part of learning to read is understanding what is read, right? At first, comprehension skills can be developed easily with vocabulary work. So you ask your child, do you know what that is? What does that mean? Discuss it. Sometimes they'll know, and sometimes they won't. Both are important for this work, and they're important to discuss. If they know, you could always ask, what's another word that kind of means the same thing? Knowing synonyms is important for understanding that there are many ways to say the same thing. The etymology of words can be helpful in figuring out the meaning of a word they've never seen or heard before. So if you find words in the same word family, you may be able to determine an approximate meaning. Through the years, by having conversations like this about words and how they're made and things like that, you can help your child develop a real love of words. And this is helpful because words are the units of thought, and thoughts are the basis of books, and books should be read. As they get older, another approach that supports comprehension is asking their feelings or opinion about something that you're reading together or that they're reading on their own. And at some point, they really feel like this is something that they want to share. So start early and then hang in there. The last element of reading that we want to make sure that kids have is the why, the motivation. Why would they read? Well, developing the motivation sometimes takes more work. One thing that I would recommend is to give them the opportunity to read. So put books and magazines in the bathroom, in the car, wherever there may be idle time. Another thing you could do is, and actually should do, is show to your children that reading is a family value, that in your family, you consider reading to be an important activity. You can show this by doing it together sometimes, making it a part of your day, before bed, or as an afternoon routine. You should model reading to them. It's not just for kids, it's not just on our phones, it's for pleasure too. Read to them out of the magazine at the doctor's office, or the newspaper at the breakfast table. Depending on the age and involvement of your child, you may want to start with the comics, Ann Landers, local news story. Follow their interests. Have it be real and genuine. The last one is a little bit tough, making reading the best choice. If you find that in your house, your kids always pick playing video games or on the computer or watching TV, maybe you should think about limiting those options so that at some part of the day, reading a book floats to the top of the ideas of fun things to do, that it's the best option. So these are just some of the ideas I have about supporting literacy at home. I'm sure you can come up with some yourselves that will fit nicely into your own family life. Be sure to think about supporting all the areas, the how, the why, and the process. Oh, I forgot the what. And the what. And the process of learning to read is bound to be more enjoyable for your child and for you. Good luck.